morning and welcome to our action proposal, our business proposal presentation for the senior living community. It is our goal here at the senior living community to provide our residents with a safe 24-hour environment where they have the comforts of home, with the exception that they have the bonuses of healthy meals, activities, and exceptional staff. They also have the personal interaction with friends and our staff members. For our staff, it is our goal to provide clear training and expectation to each of them and provide the tools and resources that they stand in need of. We also want our staff to feel like it is a friendly and rewarding environment. Right now we're dealing with some complaints from our residents and our family members. They feel like some of the patient care is being unmet. Our biggest complaint is our senior citizens are being left in their adult briefs for too long, to the point that they're leaking through to their clothing or their furniture, which is unacceptable. They've also noticed that some of our CNAs during shift time are playing on computers when obviously they are needed elsewhere. CNAs feel like they don't understand the expectations. They feel like they've gotten in trouble sometimes for things that haven't been accomplished, and they didn't understand that they were supposed to be doing those things. They also feel like that they're lacking some of the resources to communicate within the staff and shift, and also that they are lacking the ability to communicate with management during shift, especially in a time of an emergency with their residents. Corporate, obviously, they want the revenues to become higher and increase. However, when the staff is not properly trained, they're not able to provide the adequate care for our residents, which in turn is not going to bring up our revenues. So we need to address these other issues before we can increase the revenues within the business. Our memory care facility is where patients who are suffering from increases of dementia or Alzheimer's disease, and online studies show that the most desired staff to patient ratio is 1 staff member to each 5 patients. And as you can see, we meet or even exceed that number until we get to our full capacity, which is 18 patients. Once we reach that 18 patients, we're lacking in a full staff member, which is necessary, but also in the morning hours that creates a very difficult time and a struggle for our staff members to keep up with the craziness. On our problem solution score, the most mentioned and asked for solution is the checklist. This is where we would provide a checklist in each patient's room, and residents are to mark off when things are accomplished, such as showering and taking them to the bathroom. However, when staff is really busy, they forget or simply don't mark off those things on the list. And we've actually had problems in the past where those things have been marked off on the checklist and actually haven't been completed. So that one's a little frustrating and not meeting the demand. Cost is as good, but the quality isn't there. Management reinforcement, we can see that in the orange, and it is a necessary tool in any project implementation. However, that in itself obviously isn't going to fulfill the needs that we have. Increased training, we can see that here in the red, which cost is just minimal, but employee satisfaction and customer importance are rated a little bit higher. We definitely need the increased training for our staff members. However, each of these things, increased training, management, reinforcement, and checklist, just don't meet the required improvements by themselves or individually. So that would leave us to our final one, which is here in the tan, and that would be a combination of the three being implemented along with this application called Slack. It's a communication app among our staff members. So our next step would be to require all staff to download a Slack application to their smartphones, and we have checked each of our staff members do have a smartphone, and by downloading that Slack application, it allows them to communicate with other members on the staff and leave notes for the next shift as needed. And we would also require that only the Slack application is opened on their phones during their shifts. No other games, no other issues with that. Require each staff member to attend a training seminar. So this would increase their knowledge of what is expected of them and what they should be doing. And then that allows them to be held accountable for the things that they aren't accomplishing. They must be fully trained in order to understand that. We would implement a shift change collaboration. So the shift that is leaving and the shift that is coming on, they will take a few minutes, talk to each other, and explain the things that referring to our residents that are most important, such as maybe medication changes or mental health changes. This will help them take care of the staff members, take care of the residents more efficiently. Next would be adding in our memory care facility that just a small shift change. It would allow an extra shift from about 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. to help with those morning routines such as showering, getting residents dressed, getting their medications that they haven't had all night, and also to help them to get to their meals. We needed them to be to their meals on time in order to keep the kitchen staff rolling efficiently. And last is our management accountability for the reward and repercussion system. This is important because if this doesn't get followed through, all the rest of it will fail. Management must be able to have 360 feedback and talk to residents and their families and to the staff members and make sure that everything is flowing properly the way they'd hoped, and to make adjustments where necessary. Management needs to hold the staff accountable when they're not reaching their potential, when they're not fulfilling their duties that they're required to do. Then management needs to take care of that. And not only the repercussion side of it, but to reward our staff members for doing exceptional work. Taking care of the elderly is not an easy task. However, it is a rewarding one, and we need to be able to remind them of that and encourage them in their work. And the reward system could be anything from recognition to a financial contribution. Anyway, that is our presentation, and we will now open up the floor for any questions that you might have. Thank you.